In this video, I'm going to show you how to leverage your onboarding form to streamline your onboarding process and provide your clients with a better experience at scale. We'll be going over what an onboarding form actually is, what you actually need to collect in this onboarding form, 6 tips you can actually use to improve your onboarding form, and lastly, how to tie everything into automation to actually automate your onboarding process. If you don't know who I am, my name is Leo. I'm the CEO and founder of Fluxomate, an operation agency which helps agency owners all over the world set up scale-proof systems. This is a question we got from Emilio in our brand new community. However, I thought this video would be valuable because I haven't seen any sort of information or videos out there talking about specifically the onboarding form, which is an important part of the onboarding process. So if you want to actually improve your onboarding forms and be able to leverage it to give your client a better experience at scale, then make sure to watch until the end because we're not holding anything back. So let's get straight into it. The first thing we kind of need to address is what onboarding form actually is. Onboarding form is very simple. It's a form that you send during the onboarding process. So whenever a payment is actually complete, between that journey of them actually hopping on an onboarding call, completing different follow-up steps, you want them to complete a form so you can collect different information about the project and about the client. The form is nothing complicated. Obviously, depending on the complexity of your services, it will range in terms of the complexity of the information you actually need to collect in that form. But the actual concept of it is very, very simple. Within an onboarding form, you need to collect 2 different pieces of information. Firstly is the project information. Now, I was initially going to just share my onboarding form or share what I would say is an ideal onboarding form. However, within this kind of YouTube channel, we have agency owners watching this, but agency owners with a lot of different niches and a lot of different models that are actually using within each one of the niches, right? So rather than showing you ideal onboarding form, which may or may not apply to your specific situation, I'd rather show you the concept that you can actually use to create your own perfect onboarding form, which will be perfect for your unique situation. The key of this kind of information in terms of the project side of things is you need to collect any sort of information which is essential for you to start any sort of work. So for example, if you're running a marketing agency, this is where you collect different things such as ideal avatar, the service listing, the profit margin, so you can calculate the break-even ROAS, or even different creators that they may already have. If you're a lead gen agency or a content agency, for example, you collect different things such as the Instagram data, any sort of long form content they have, any relevant links, and any sort of branding aspects like their logos, colors, different things like that. Once again, the key part of this first half of the onboarding form, which is collecting the project info, is just making sure you can collect all the information that is actually required for you to start work. Remember, within the onboarding process, you want to get them a win as soon as possible, right? So the faster you can get to work to actually get them that win, the better it is. So what I would say is make sure within the onboarding form, you're collecting all the relevant information, because the worst thing you can do is follow up with them after they've completed the onboarding form asking for information. I think it just makes you seem a bit unprofessional and doesn't give them a security that you've actually done this before. So that's the first half of it. Now the second half of it is collecting client information. Now when I say client information, I'm going to say something very, very basic, at least in the first half of it, which is basically different things like their email, their address, their phone number. But there's more. This is a great opportunity to build a real connection with your clients. And I'll explain what I mean in a second. Within this onboarding form, rather than just asking basic client information such as their email, address, or phone number, which obviously you do need, you could also ask different things such as their favorite sports team, their favorite hobbies, their clothing size, and then automatically add that in your CRM. Using that, you can then leverage different retention tactics to help you decrease your churn rate, like surprise and like gamification, like merch at different goals, which I've got a whole video coming out about soon. Once again, you're still collecting that project information and you're still collecting that basic client information, which you obviously need, such as a name, address, email, phone number, but you're just adding on to that because these questions that you use here, and I'll show you some examples of how to actually do it, but we're going to use it as sort of different retention tactics to provide the client with a truly one-to-one experience and build a real connection with them. And I'll give you an example of what this actually looks like. So I'll give you an example of how you could use this. So let's say I just went ahead and signed up. I'm super, super excited. I go ahead and complete that form. Then 3 days later, 7 days later, whatever, I get a custom merch, like a hoodie like I'm wearing right now, a t-shirt, a mug, different things like that, and a handwritten note from the founder letting me know that they're happy to have me on, and then or maybe also mention different things such as my favorite sports team or different things like that. That's an easy way to really make a truly honorable kind of client experience, which no one else will be able to deliver apart from yourself. And one thing I'll say, guys, these different retention techniques I'm showing you now are not the true solution. Obviously, if you're not providing your clients with real results, then none of this stuff will work. But if you do have great results and you also have an amazing customer experience, that's when you'll be able to get an exponential return on your ad spend or acquisition costs, because that lifetime gross profit is just going to keep going up and up every single month if you employ these different factors. Another example of how you can actually leverage this client information is when you actually mess up. So let's say you've done something wrong. let's say, I don't know, you launched the wrong ad copy on an ad, you released the wrong content. Saying I'm sorry and just sort of apologizing is not going to be enough. But don't worry, this is a perfect opportunity to really switch this around and give an experience that's above and beyond for your clients. And this is something that actually Layla Hormozi talks about. If you don't know who she is, she's the operator of acquisition.com, which is a holding company which is doing about $250 million a year. But within the actual spectrum of a client, there's three main stages. There's them being angry, there's them being neutral, and there's them being happy. Obviously, when you mess up, they're going to be angry. They're going to be in this stage right here. You apologizing, potentially giving him a refund and fixing the issue may potentially bring him over here if you're lucky to neutral, but that's not enough. You want to bring them all the way over to happy, because an angry customer will give you about 15 negative referrals. A neutral customer probably won't give you any, and a happy customer will probably give you 3 to 5 really good referrals for your business. So you want to bring them all the way over to happy. So just apologizing and kind of fixing the issue, if you're lucky, you'll bring it over to neutral. But using different things, such as the information from that onboarding form, you can leverage it to give them a really, really exceptional experience. So let's say I'm working with a marketing agency, and then they go ahead and publish a YouTube video, which I didn't want out for a couple months because the offer wasn't actually built out yet. Rather than them just apologizing to me and deleting the video from the uploads, which is just a solution, they could go ahead and use the information that they collected in the onboarding form, such as, I don't know, my favorite sports team, and then buy me some gear for that sports team, get me tickets to the sports team, or even look at my fun hobbies, get me something related to that hobby, just as a gesture that they really are sorry and they really want to care for me. Now, obviously, you are going to be incurring a cost, but that's part of the game. You messed up. So you need to find a way to actually provide them with an experience which is above and beyond, unforgettable. And then I guarantee if you do that, and if you do something that's crazy, for example, of getting them tickets to their favorite sports team, they're going to be your number one advocate and they're going to tell every single one of their friends about you. So you've just taken a situation which might potentially have caused them to churn and leave you and made them a customer for a lifetime if you can continue providing them results. I know some companies that actually purposely try to mess up with a very small issue so they can actually use the opportunity to provide them with experiences above and beyond to really, really cement the customer in their list. I would recommend doing that, but you get the idea of how powerful something like this can be. And this all comes from an onboarding form, the thing they complete on a very first day. So let's say 60 days in, you actually mess up and make that mistake. They're not gonna remember they filled out an onboarding form in the first place. And when they get those tickets or whatever sort of, fun mediation that you have for them, they're gonna be like, oh my God, how do these guys know this? Well, these guys actually care because they actually listen to me. So that's a main reason why you need to collect a bit more than just the project information, which obviously you need, and the basic client information, because you can elevate this and use it literally as a retention tactic within your business. Now, before I go over the different tips I have on how you can actually improve your onboarding form, I want to give you a very, very essential tip that's helped me and my different partners a lot when it comes to specifically the onboarding process. When the client first comes in, I always have every single one of my partners have the relevant customer success manager call the customer and basically introduce himself. This is a very, very 5-minute quick call. I'm not going to give you a script, but the basic premise of it is that you want them to introduce themselves. You want them to actually mention the closer's first name to actually show a connection between the customer success manager and the closer. You want the customer success manager to actually mention the lead's biggest pain point and desire, which they mentioned on the sales call, which your closer should have written in the CRM. Tell them about the form that they actually need to complete, but more specifically, tell them about the next steps and link it back to that desire as to why they actually signed on in the first place. So, for example, let's say I'm working with a lead gen agency, and within the sales call, I say, man, I really want 10 more leads a month, because with that, I'll be able to afford new healthcare for my kid. Obviously, quite a wild example, but you get the idea. When that customer success manager calls me, she should say something like, okay, cool. The next thing we have to do is fill in our onboarding form and then do X, Y, Z. And then we'll be able to actually generate that 10 leads for you so you can actually go ahead and provide a healthcare for your kid. You see how we're linking the steps that I have to complete in that onboarding form to the end desired outcome, which from my experience makes them much more motivated to actually go out and complete that end outcome. This was an example. Let's go over the 6 different ways you can actually improve your onboarding form. So the first tip is actually something that happens before or after the first initial payment. So either on the sales call or on the thank you page when they actually complete the payment, you need to emphasize the importance of the onboarding form. So for example, if I was a closer or a salesman, I'll say something along the lines of, okay, cool. The next steps to actually get you started is to fill in this onboarding form. You'll get an email as soon as you actually sign up. That's very, very important. Make sure you take time to actually fill it out because it'll give us all the information we need to get started with you and get you X desired outcome as quickly as possible. In the thank you page, you can also do something similar. So basically, whenever they actually finish that payment, you can redirect them to a onboarding page, something like that, which basically has a quick video thanking them them for obviously paying, and then going into the importance of them actually filling in the onboarding form. And once again, guys, the key here is you need to link it to their true desire. So when the salesman is actually explaining that, or the video is going over why they should actually complete the onboarding form, link it to them being able to achieve the reason why they came into in the first place. That will increase the success rate and will decrease the time delay in which they actually spend completing that onboarding form, which will be the key for you to actually start working and get them that win as soon as possible. The second tip I'll give you is following up. Now, in an ideal world, your client's going to complete the form as soon as they sign on. However, in reality, some clients might not complete the form straight away. And this is basically when you have to set up different automated follow-ups, which check if the client's completed the form and then follow up if they have not. This can come in a lot of different forms. You can have different automated SMS, automated emails, or even a point where the customer success manager actually calls a lead to tell them they need to complete this form. This is something I talk about in my 9 ways to reduce churn video. However, one of the things you need to do is hold your clients accountable. And the easiest way to do this and actually hold your clients accountable when your customer success manager calls them is to once again link the onboarding form to their true desire. So let's say it's 3 days in and they still haven't completed the onboarding form, which by the way is 3 days delay in your actual process, which is going to be passed on to your delay, even though it's not your fault. This is why accountability is very important. But let's say it's 3 days into them not completing the onboarding form and your customer success manager calls them. Rather than saying, please complete this onboarding form, it's important for us to get the information, you can say something along the lines of, if you want to get that true desire without any delays, it's very important that you take the time to fill in this onboarding form today so you can get that true desire. So once again, if you go back to the healthcare example, so you can get that healthcare for your kid and those 10 leads every single month. You're linking them completing the onboarding form to the true desire and kind of providing an incentive for them to actually complete it, which will be key and will avoid you having to follow up with every single lead multiple times just to complete a very, very simple form. Now, I will say, this doesn't happen all the time and it obviously depends on the type of buyer that you actually have coming in, because usually when people pay you a lot of money, they're very, very keen to get started. However, if you're dealing with busy people, which for example, like us, we deal with agency owners who are very, very busy, they're doing a lot of different things at the same time, they might overlook this onboarding form, which is very, very annoying for us because it delays our work. So we make it very, very clear to them that this is something they need to complete. And if they don't, we make sure to follow up with them and hold them accountable so they actually do complete that form. Another tip I'll give you is a way you can actually remove this whole follow-up thing. And it's simply by creating an incentive for them to actually complete the form. Now, this can be a bunch of different things, but the main kind of concept of it is that you unlock a particular benefit or bonus when they actually complete the onboarding form. This just acts as an extra incentive. The only kind of advice I'll give you about this specific tip is to make it something that they actually care about. So for example, if you're working with a roofer, right, as a marketing agency, you're providing marketing services for a roofing company, creating some sort of chat GPT prompt might not be the best incentive for them. However, if you create, I don't know, a roofer's guide to financial stability, different things like that, which are related to something they would actually care about, then they'll be much more likely to spend the time to actually complete the onboarding form so they can unlock that specific gift. And that actually makes sure to let them know that once they complete the onboarding form, they'll be able to unlock that gift. Because once again, it just acts as an incentive for them to actually complete it. If you have a really, really good incentive, I guarantee you won't have to follow up with anyone because they'll be rushing to actually complete that onboarding form and they'll actually email you if it's not sent in time. So the better incentive you have, the quicker you actually get this onboarding form completed for your clients. The fourth tip I'll give you about the onboarding form is to actually take action. Now, what I mean by that is to actually use the information your client uses on that onboarding form and make use of it. This is very, very important. I'll just say a story to kind of drive this in. Let's say one day I spoke to my friend, and one of the things they kept on asking me is basically to open up about a specific topic that I didn't really want to talk about. When they finally convinced me to actually open up, I talked to them and I told them all of my different problems and different things I was annoyed of about their behavior. The next day, they did the exact same thing again. They basically took no action, and that really, really frustrated me and made me upset. This exact same concept we're taking here. You don't want them to waste their time and not mention the different things that they actually completed in the onboarding form in that onboarding call or throughout the rest of your services. If they enter any sort of information which is related to the project, especially if they open up about specific topics like the healthcare example we made earlier, is very important that you actually mention it in the onboarding call to make them feel heard and make them feel like they didn't waste their time completing that form. This is an easy way to actually improve your client experience just by spending 10 minutes before the actual call, going over the form and making sure you have all the key bullet points. Because if you ask them to complete the onboarding form and then ask them to repeat themselves again on the onboarding call, then what's the point? There's no point in actually collecting all that information in the onboarding form, and it'll be a waste of time for them. And I'm telling you, they'll be able to pick it up straight away. They might not say anything, But 1 month down the line, when they actually leave you and you're wondering, oh, I wonder why these guys left, we gave them such good results. It's not only about results. Yes, results play a massive factor, but the better your client experience is, the better your lifetime value will actually be. I'll try to put it on the screen, but Layla Mosley actually talks about this kind of graph when it comes to client satisfaction and results. And there's 4 different type of tiers. You don't want to be in a tier that has the bad customer experience because the lifetime value will not be great. The real returns on lifetime value and even lifetime gross profit, which is basically how much each one of your clients is worth, will come when you have the best results and the best client experience. So using different tactics like the ones I'm showing you in this video will be an easy way to actually implement this and improve your client experience at scale. And guys, think about it. Right now, we're still just talking about the onboarding form. Think about how many different ways you can actually integrate different concepts that I'm talking about today within your agency, like in different things like fulfillment, the sales process, different retention tactics, meetings. There's so many different concepts you can actually use to improve your client experience. And really drilling your customer support team on these different things will be an easy way to increase the lifetime gross profit of every single client in your agency. So make sure you actually mention different information that they spend time filling in on the onboarding form. And then on a call, they'll be like, wow, these guys have actually listened, which will be a massive pointer. The last 2 tips are completely optional. However, I'll include them anyways. Now, this tip is completely optional. I don't recommend everyone do this, but it's an additional touch that may add or allow you to create a better experience for your clients. And that's basically embedding some sort of personality test within that onboarding form. Now, I'll be honest, I'm not expert on this, and this is something that one of my customer success managers actually suggested to myself. But within the onboarding form, there's a bunch of different tests that you can actually include. And the whole aim of it is that you basically collect the personality type so you can match them with a customer success manager that has a personality type that works together with them. Once again, I'm not expert in the different personality types or different personality tests, but we've implemented this for one of our partners and it works a charm because they have a massive range of customer success managers. And in order to match them with the best possible person, they do these personality tests to link them together with someone that is suited to their way of working or their way of learning. If you have some sort of coaching business with different coaches, this will play a massive factor. When it comes to B2B services, it won't matter as much, which is why I'm saying it's completely optional. But just a nice additional touch you can actually add to your onboarding form. The last tip I actually want to add is to make the form interactive. Now, once again, this is optional because it's not a lead magnet. They are very, very warm. I mean, they already paid you at this point. However, I prefer to not make it a boring form like a Google form and make it a bit more interactive. There's a bunch of different apps you can actually use for this, like Typeform does it a bit better. Grow. I don't remember the name exactly, but I believe it's called Grow. I'll leave a picture right here with the actual name of the company. But with this, you can create a bit more interactive forms, which rather than it being a long Google form, which is very, very boring, and they might get tired of actually completing it, which might lead to delays, you make it very, very interactive with each page's own question. It's multi-option selects, different things like that, just to make it a bit more fun for them to actually complete the onboarding form so you can still get all the relevant information without any delays and without them feeling that they have to do so much to actually get the result. The main idea of this is just to make it as seamless as possible for them to be onboarded within your experience. So rather than having a long Google form, which has a bunch of different questions, you cut it down to an interactive form, which even though it might take longer to actually complete, it won't feel like it to them, which is the key thing. And this kind of comes back to a marketing concept. One of the things that they were worrying about when setting up the transport network in London or just trains in general is they kept on getting worried about making a train faster and faster and faster. I forgot the guy's name, but one of the marketing experts actually suggested rather than spending those billions of pounds to actually make the train faster, you can spend a couple million to make the train a better experience so it feels faster. So that's when they start adding different things like food service, TVs and planes, different things like that. So they're not making the journey faster. However, because they're making it more enjoyable, then it seems faster in the client's head. So that's a similar concept we're kind of approaching here with making the form a bit more interactive. We're obviously still collecting all the information we need, but we're making it seem a bit more enjoyable for them rather than a long, boring Google form, which they're likely to zone out of or get distracted by. So guys, that's basically the 6 pro tips you can actually use to leverage your onboarding forms and really take them to the next level to provide your clients with the best possible experience. Like I said, this is just onboarding forms. I mean, can you imagine how many more ways you can actually integrate these exact same concepts and so many more in different ways in your agency to actually improve your client experience and make sure everyone's getting a one-of-one experience, because those are where the real referrals come from. Those is where the real increases in lifetime gross profit will actually come from, when you're providing your clients with a truly one-of-one experience that none of your competitors will ever be able to do. The last thing I want to talk about when it comes to the onboarding form is the actual automation. Now, your onboarding form is a key part of the process automation, but in reality, it's a very, very small part of the onboarding process. I'm not going to be going over live automation builds today. Apologies if you're actually expecting one. However, within the kind of onboarding process, your kickoff form is a very, very important part for the automation, because from this onboarding form, you can use it as a trigger for various different things. So, for example, whenever they complete the onboarding form, you can do different things such as update the CRM, start any creative work, and then send them a welcome message or unlock different gifts. Nowadays, using AI, you can also use the information from an onboarding form to already create the initial process of the creative work. So rather than starting from scratch, you have a kind of templatized version that you can come in and work on based on their answers. This is a game changer. Obviously, it's a bit more complicated to set up. So if you want me to make a video going over how to actually do that, make sure to leave a comment below or in the community, and I'll make sure to actually record it for you guys. But the onboarding form is an easy way to kind of integrate automation within your onboarding process, because it's the easiest trigger, which is the start of any automation, to actually set up. So if you haven't automated any part of your onboarding process and you've just watched this video and created a perfect onboarding form for your agency using different tips and the different collection methods I talked about in this video, then I recommend you watch this video right here to give an example of how you can actually automate the initial part of your onboarding process, which will give you some more inspiration on how you can actually automate what happens after the onboarding form. But guys, that's pretty much it. Just a very, very quick video. I just want to go over the perfect onboarding form example. Like I said, I don't think there's a lot of people on YouTube talking about this. I haven't seen any videos, and I think it's a very, very important part of the onboarding process. Because remember, anything that happens in the onboarding process will literally be your client's first impression of you. So the more ways you can integrate different methods like the one I talked about in this video to really streamline the process and make it a one-of-one experience for the client, the better it will be and the higher your lifetime gross profit will actually be, because you're going to reduce that churn rate for your clients. Once again, results are still very, very important. So you could implement all these tactics for you today and so many more. But if you're not getting your clients real results, then what's the point? Well, guys, I hope this video was valuable. If you want to see more videos like this, like and subscribe. This question actually came from our new community, the Skill Proof Agency Hub. Within there, we have access to every single resource we actually released on the YouTube, including the mind map I went over today, as well as a scale proof roadmap, which is basically a step-by-step guide on how you can set up scale proof systems in your agency. It's got over 400 different examples and about 1,200 minutes of video content. So if you want to check out a step-by-step guide on how you can actually scale your agency for free, you can check out the first link in the description to actually join the Scale Proof Agency Hub. And within there, you also get access to over 100 different agency owners who are actually looking to set up scale proof systems, and direct access to myself and my team. So if you have any questions about this video, or you want to request different video ideas exactly like Emilio did, then feel free to join, and I'll see you inside. And like I said, guys, don't finish your learning here. Once you actually create a perfect onboarding form, it's your role now to actually automate everything that happens before and after that form. So I recommend you watch this video right here to give you an insight on how you can actually create a perfect automated onboarding process from scratch. This is a step-by-step automation tutorial. Use make.com. So if you're looking to actually automate your onboarding process to get rid of any delays, I recommend checking it out. That's it from me today, guys. Hope this video was valuable. If you have any questions about anything I mentioned today, make sure to leave a comment below. We're a very, very small channel at the moment, so be sure that if you leave a comment, we're 100% going to see it and give you an in-depth response. But apart from that, guys, that's it from me today. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye-bye.